you're about to call me daddy because I'm going to let you know what you're missing out on by not eating your vegetables. And if you're about to stop listening because you think vegetables are too boring, this is especially for you. You know how it's a common thing to characterize children as thinking, oh my God, I don't like vegetables. You know, a lot of adults say that too. And as you can imagine, it's not good. If you're dumb and avoid vegetables, you run the risk of having a higher chance of obesity, heart disease, diabetes, and certain cancers, which is pretty crazy. Most adults don't get enough vegetables. You need about 2.5 to 3 cups per day. I fall short of that sometimes, but I know for damn sure you probably do every damn day. And it's kind of your fault, but not necessarily entirely your fault. The issue is for a lot of adults is that they didn't grow up with like variety in their vegetables, if that makes sense. And by that I mean that they weren't seasoned. Because think about it, a lot of kids they grow up not liking vegetables, and why is that? Because their parents probably gave them just a fucking plate of steamed broccoli and said, "Eat up," and then they wonder why the kids think it's boring. Now, to be fair, this isn't the case for everyone, especially if you come from an immigrant background from a country that has spice. Like you're not gonna tell me eating vegetables at an Indian family's place is gonna be nasty, like or boring. There's no way. So honestly, a lot of people dislike vegetables because they just think about it in their base form, not remembering, oh, wait, augmenting food exists. It's called cooking. And another big reason a lot of adults don't like vegetables is because they're busy. I prefer my ultra processed food. I prefer takeout. And I say ultra processed, not processed, because there's some good processed stuff you can have with vegetables. I know chickpeas aren't a vegetable, but cilantro is. And a falafel is basically a processed ball of good shit. So the food being processed isn't the biggest issue. It's the ultra processed food because it's just a bunch of stuff with filler and whatever. It's barely food. But a lot of people prefer that for snacking instead of vegetables. And don't you dare think about getting a salad from McDonald's or anything like that. That shit is pretty bad as well. I mean, nothing you can get at a McDonald's is good for you anyway. But again, don't think you're getting out scot free by ordering a salad. You're still eating shit if you have McDonald's there. But who am I kidding anyway? Whoever goes to McDonald's is not ordering a salad. But the crazy thing is, talking about McDonald's and other fast food, they prove that most people do like vegetables. Think about it. Most burgers come with lettuce and stuff like that, right? But you never hear about anyone taking the lettuce out of their burger, right? I mean, if you have, that'd be fucking crazy. My point is, the lettuce is not the problem. You just need other stuff that tastes good to go with it if you don't particularly like lettuce, but the lettuce is not the problem. You're fine eating that. You just want some flavor. So you're getting closer. You understand vegetables are good. Just got to eat it with other stuff that you think is good. And if you have heard of someone taking out the lettuce from a burger, I think they might be too far gone, to be honest. That's fuck behavior. But yeah, you're gambling every time you get takeout and get vegetables. Like if you order Chinese food, chicken and broccoli, pretty sure the broccoli's like covered in MSG and stuff like that. You're eating it with a bunch of probably fucked up chicken. So it's not the best way to take in vegetables. Now, let me play devil's advocate. Let's say someone says vegetables are bitter and bland. I just can't get past the flavor. Cook and season your food. I can get enough nutrients from other foods or supplements. You know what? Fair enough. If you get the same exact nutrients, then I mean, I guess that's the point of food to nourish your body. So if you can get that elsewhere, the exact ones might be challenging, but that's somewhat fair. Vegetables are too expensive or spoil too quickly. They're not expensive. Shut the fuck up. And the best way to prevent vegetables from spoiling is to eat them. I grew up not eating vegetables and I'm fine. Maybe you grew up fine, but you're not gonna die fine at this rate. Cooking vegetables is too much work and takes too much time. Yeah, I know what to tell you, man. Get some frozen vegetables and just thaw them out and eat them or something. I don't. Vegetables don't take long to cook in any way. So what you're telling me is that you don't cook at all, which is a completely separate problem. There are plenty of healthy people who don't eat vegetables. Maybe, but I guarantee you're not one of them. Let's get into some numbers here. Only 1 in 10 US adults eat the recommended amount of vegetables per day. Seems about right. I thought it'd be a bit less, to be honest, but yeah, fair. Americans who eat 5 plus servings of vegetables daily have a 30% lower risk of dying from heart disease. I actually just yesterday learned exactly why fiber is helpful in terms of like cholesterol and stuff like that, like the science of it. And I forgot the specifics, but basically the fiber combines with the bile salts inside of you and it gets rid of a lot of bile salts. And for your body to create more bile, it needs to kind of use up cholesterol, which means it needs to get rid of it in that way, in that sense. It's used up. So fiber is pretty helpful for lowering some cholesterol. And in case you didn't catch that, most vegetables are full of lots and lots of fiber. This stat here says diets low in vegetables are linked to almost 3 million deaths around the world per year, according to the Global Burden of Disease study. I don't know how the fuck they came to that conclusion. Say, this person died. Oh, they didn't have enough broccoli. I don't know how they got that, but sure. People who regularly eat vegetables are 40% less likely to become obese compared to those who rarely eat them. And that makes sense because vegetables are full of fiber, super low calorie. So not only are they filling, but they don't take up a lot of your calorie budget. Compared to someone who eats a lot of, let's say, ultra processed food, which is high calorie, not filling, which means they want to eat more. If you eat more vegetables, you will get fuller faster. You'll feel satiated. So that makes sense. People who eat less are not as fat. 90% of Americans don't meet daily fiber recommendations, a lot of which come from vegetables, like I said. 90% is absolutely insane. I had a friend who recommended these tortillas. They're from this company, Mission. They're called Mission Net Carb, like zero net carb tortillas or something. I don't know. Low net carb, whatever. Look up some Mission tortillas, turn them over, and look at the fiber. Some of them are like 97% of what you need per day, depending on your weight and height and all that stuff. I've even seen one that's like 107%. So basically, you eat one of these tortillas and you're basically good with fiber for the day. If you eat two, your shits will be golden. So if you're not going to eat vegetables, at the very least, try those out. Those Mission tortillas, they're awesome. You can find them basically anywhere. Not an ad, they're just fucking great and low calorie. The average American child is exposed to 7 times more junk food ads than fruit or vegetable ads. I think the number's kind of low because I don't think I've ever seen a fruit ad before. A vegetable ad. Maybe I think I've seen a commercial for corn, maybe. Yeah, I don't know. That makes sense, I guess. You can have a lot more fun in the commercials with a junk food ad. They got these weird colors, probably a stupid name. With a vegetable ad, I don't know what you're supposed to do with that. I don't think I've ever seen one. This next stat goes back to a previous episode about school lunches. Only 7% of them served in, you guessed it, the United States, meet the federal standards for vegetables, which means the vast majority of food that your kids are eating, they got like no vegetables. They got like 5% vegetables. They got a piece of broccoli in there. Let's go back to fiber. People who don't like vegetables are 2.5 times more likely to have digestive issues due to, basically low fiber. This stat is interesting and makes a lot of sense. 38% of adults say they don't like vegetables because they don't know how to prepare them in a tasty way. So that tells me about 40% of people don't know how to season food or maybe even cook, which again is a totally separate, bigger problem. The cost of not eating enough vegetables is estimated at $56 billion annually in increased healthcare and lost productivity in the US. I don't know how the fuck you get this type of numbers. Maybe increased healthcare you can maybe attribute to it, like low fiber, low vitamins that are only or mostly found in vegetables. You can figure that out probably, right? Lost productivity. What the fuck are you talking about? Are they comparing the cases of people in the hospital for, low vegetable intake, low fiber, whatever, to simultaneous low productivity in certain industries? Like, how the fuck do you even get a lost productivity stat? What the fuck? Anyways, 2/3 of people who start eating more vegetables talk about how they have improved energy and digestion within 2 weeks. 2 weeks. That makes sense again. All that fiber and those nutrients. So if you're getting the point right now, if you don't eat vegetables, your body is missing out on a shit ton, and you're missing out on a shit ton by not having a lot of fiber. And if you're thinking, I'm going to be healthy anyway, I'm going to supplement. Listen, if you can't eat a fucking cup of broccoli or some spinach or something, you're not going to care enough to supplement. Don't kid yourself. Honestly, if you're trying to lose weight, vegetables are fucking awesome. Like I mentioned before, they're super low calorie and they fill you up more than a lot of other stuff. There's not really such a thing as 0 calorie eating or snacking, but vegetables are really close. So if you're one of those people who they didn't like vegetables, if you're a baby, basically, here's some tips. I'll tell you exactly what I do for a lot of vegetables. Now, ideally, you want to eat vegetables raw if you can, because if you cook them, they lose some of their goodness, not in taste, but in terms of nutrients. Not a crazy amount, but it's better raw. But you know, eating vegetables, period, is just better than not. So what I do is normally when I cook eggs or something like that, are mushrooms vegetables? I'm gonna assume they are for the purpose of what I'm saying. So I'm heating up the pan for my eggs. I put a bunch of spinach on there, put a bunch of mushrooms on there. Then the eggs that are whisked, I just pour that on top, and then they basically mix together. I either scramble them, make an omelet, whatever. And then the spinach and mushrooms, they're built in to the eggs. And before that, I also put on, some salt, some seasoning. Oregano's fucking great with mushrooms. And then, yeah, I mean, it's great. I like what I'm saying is that I saute, I cook my vegetables usually. What you can also do is if you have like, let's say you're a person who likes protein shakes or meal replacements or something like that. Put some vegetables in there. You're basically not gonna taste them. Depending, how strong the other stuff is, you're not gonna taste the vegetables. Just put some fucking kale, put some fucking broccoli in there. You're not gonna taste it. Just put it in. The other vegetable I like is the baby carrot. That's something I used to snack on mindlessly. Now I've discovered I've lost I've lost 100 pounds. I lost a lot of weight. I'm in very decent control of my intake. But what I found is that I'm just a person who fucking likes snacking. I just like it. So instead of removing a bunch of snacks from home and making myself miserable, I just swap out snacks with baby carrots and other things, of course. But baby carrots are fucking awesome. First of all, I like them by themselves. I can take a bag of baby carrots and just eat that while I'm reading, and I'm good. I don't need anything else. But what you can do is get some dip. There's a cool dip called bitchin' sauce I would look into. It's really good. You take the carrot and you bite it a bit. Not like it's a baby carrot, so it's small. So you got to be careful. Just bite it right in the middle, and you basically create a carrot scoop at that point. And then you can use it with the dip or whatever. Now, with the sauce, it becomes not a mindless snack anymore. But baby carrots by themselves, it's like 3 calories per baby carrot. So you can go fucking wild with that. I mean, you should still track them, but if you don't want to, you're not going to do much damage at all. Yeah, a huge ass bag is going to be like 300 calories tops, which is what, 5 Oreos? So, pretty good. Pretty good bang for buck, honestly. Another tip, get frozen vegetables. I know some people might say, oh, it's dog shit compared to getting them fresh and keeping in your fridge and eating them today or tomorrow. Yeah, that's ideal. But we're talking, comparing to 0 intake. So just get your fucking frozen vegetables if you want. It's totally fine. You have an air fryer, put them in there for like 5 minutes. You're good. You have basically steamed vegetables. Well, not steamed, but you know what I mean. You have good to go vegetables. 5-6 minutes at 400 degrees. Honestly, if a lot of vegetables are kind of bitter or boring to you, get the ones that have a bunch of flavor. Get some peppers. Get some peas or something. Like, you can't just say, I don't like vegetables. After saying, I don't like fruit. What the hell are you talking about? There's a million kinds of fruit. You like one of them. And tomatoes are fruit. So if you like ketchup, you like fruit. Thinking about it, isn't ketchup like tomato pudding, basically? Because it's just like in that form and it's with added sugar, right? It's a fucking gross term, tomato pudding. Anyway, and honestly, the biggest tip with vegetables is don't eat them by themselves. Like I gave you in my first example, eat them with something. as an addition to supplement your food, as a side, whatever it is. You're just eating vegetables. Sure, it can be boring, unless you really love salad, which if you use a decent seasoning, a decent dressing, it can be pretty good. But in general, vegetables are a great addition to a meal. I would recommend that. It's much easier to get in as well. Eating some food you like on the side, you take a broccoli, eat some food on the side, you have a baby carrot, whatever, and just back and forth. It's easy. And like I said, if you don't like the form, put it in a smoothie or something, make it into sauce or something, puree, change the form, choose a different kind of vegetable. Like you can get these in so many ways. You can probably live without vegetables, but not as well. So you can supplement, but there's a combo of fiber, certain nutrients, certain antioxidants that you can kind of only get in vegetables. So they're just good bang for buck. You can supplement all you want, but you're going to need to eat that fucking spinach at some point. And honestly, spinach is great. Put some salt on that, put it on the pan. It's fucking nice, man. Put in your pasta. Oh my God. And by the way, over time, you may grow to really like vegetables. And over time, that might happen from not even eating vegetables themselves. When I was a kid, I remember liking carrots. And then when I became a teenager, I'm like, I really don't like carrots. Now, I'm old as shit, past 30. I fucking love carrots. Over time, your tongue and all that stuff, your body changes a bit. So if you didn't like vegetables when you were a kid, time to grow up and try it out because you might love them. If you don't love those, try different vegetables. Even though I'm not heated during this episode, I feel like it's my most preachy one yet because I basically just telling you probably what your parents told you. But here's the thing. Most of you haven't fucking listened. So I'm telling you now. Eat your fucking vegetables. If you don't, you're probably not going to make it. Anyway, see you next time.